Are you ready to start creating some material master records and other master data? That's what we'll be doing now for the purchase to pay process. We will be starting with creating the material master for trading good. Now, I am using a different company code for this one than I did for the previous video using AIS-03. Here we're going to start with section 5 to create the material master record by going into logistics, materials management, material, master, material, create special, and we're going to go into MMH1. We're going to create OLHT-03, which has not been created yet in retail. And then we're going to select the views. We will select Basic Data 1, Purchasing, General Plant Data Storage 1, and also Accounting, which you might need to toggle down to get to. And we will click the green check mark and plant MI-03 in storage location TG-03, keeping in mind that that 03 will be what yours is. We'll go ahead and create that as a default setting and click the green check mark to get in. Now, first thing we need to do is describe what our material is. We will call this material Special Edition Olympic Helmet, and then your initials, 03, base unit of measure. We're going to use each. The material group is going to be safety. And remember, when you're going through this, you can use the pull down box if you can't remember exactly how to enter it in. We're going to put a gross weight of 8 and a net weight of 9 and ounces. When we click, we will see that we get an error message because the net weight cannot be greater than the gross weight, which is a reasonableness check. And so we will click enter, and then we can move on to the purchasing tab over here. We're going to enter the purchasing group in and the last 2 digits of our ID and click enter. And it should pull us over to the plant data storage area. Now here we will not enter any information, but you can see here that maybe something has a shelf life or needs to be refrigerated. And so the storage conditions, we can explain what those are. Maybe storage condition 1 means you have to refrigerate it. Storage condition 2 means you have to freeze it. You could set those up. And then we go over to accounting. And for the accounting tab, we want to go into valuation class. And we can put in the per unit price of 30. And the price control should be the moving average price. We use moving average price for trading goods because every time we buy them, it could change the average moving average price. And we don't use standards there. We use actual prices in that particular case. We'll click the Save button, and you might get a message that says local currency converted to other currencies using the exchange rate, and click Save Again, and you will get a message that says whatever material that you created, for me it's OLHT-03, was created. We can exit and go back in to create our vendor record, which in the S4 HANA system is considered a business partner. We'll go into logistics, materials management, purchasing, master data vendor, central, and create. You'll see that we want to create it as an organization, and our business partner should be 714003, or whatever our number should be. Make sure it enters right here or defaults FI vendor FLVN00, and the grouping should be the first external number assignment. Make sure you do the first one. We want to put in company, and then we're going to enter in our name of our company. I'm calling mine Goodrich Helmets 02, or 03, sorry. I was testing it out with 02. And then I'll put my search term in as 03, and you should use the last 2 digits of your ID for that as well. We'll now go into the street and house number and put in Glen Street and put in 304, postal code and city 95929 for Chico, country US, region California, and we want to click on this little more field to pull up the language and enter in English as our language. We can go in here and put in here the time zone of EST, and you'll see that it will give us a message that says that doesn't look very reasonable. And now we can go and click enter, and we will not get that message that there's a problem with our time zone not jiving with our address of California. So that is a type of application control. Under vendor general data, we want our external vendor number to be 114003, and we want to click enter at that point and go up to the company code area, enter our company code US03, once we click enter, the reconciliation account will open up, and we can click for the trade account payables, sort key 001, and click enter. In the vendor payment transactions tab, we want to go and enter the payment terms of 001, the first one that pulls up, and the tolerance group, which is GBI. Now that tolerance group has certain rules which we have within the system. We have organizational structure or enterprise structure like the company code, master data, such as creating the master data for a material and for a vendor, which is a business partner, and also purchasing information records. And then tolerance groups give us rules that we must go by when we're doing specific transactions with specific vendors. And behind that will be the rules that are related to that. We're going to click enter now. And then we want to click save. And we will get a message that says the business partner 714003 was created, or whichever one you have. Now stay where you are, and you can go and click on this button to go into change mode. And now that you are in change mode, you want to go to change the BP role to vendor purchasing FLVN01. Now we want to click on the purchasing tab and enter in our purchasing organization, which is AIS-03. Click enter, and then we want to enter in the purchasing data on the purchasing data tab. I can't see where I need to go, so I'm going to collapse this out, and it should pop it up to the order currency. You may have to finagle this a little depending on what your screen resolution is. US dollar 0001, and you want to click enter. And the payment terms from this vendor are pay immediately, do net. Okay, maybe we don't trust this vendor, so are they new to us? And we will have more locked down payments that we are going to have. Okay, let me just back this up. Let's look at the payment terms. So here we've got payable immediately due net. Maybe this vendor that we have wants to get payment immediately. They are new with us and they just need to build up some trust, the circle of trust. And after they do that, maybe they will move down and they will change it so that we can get a discount or we can pay at a longer time frame. But right now we have to pay it immediately. So we'll click the save button after we close out of that. And we should get a message that says changes have been saved. Our last part of master data that we will be doing is going to be our information record for the vendor and material. This is going to tie the vendor and material together. We will go into logistics, materials management, purchasing master data, info record and create, ME11. We'll add that to our favorites, and we will put our vendor in here. Now, if you don't know which vendor we need, you can put in and search, because remember, we created the vendor for the external vendor, and that's actually the one we want to use. The role that started with a 7 is at a higher level. We want to enter in that vendor number, OLHT, our purchasing organization, our plant, which is the Miami plant, but for 03. We won't enter in any information record here. And we're going to click enter. And here we're going to say that our planned delivery time is 2 days. The purchasing group should populate in as N03. The standard quantity is 10. The minimum quantity is 5. And the price that this vendor will be giving us is $30. This above data defines our relationship and will let us know what we should be paying and how much we should be purchasing at one given point in time. We'll click the save button, and we should get a message that says purchasing information record and then 5, 3, and 6 zeros, 1303 US-03, now your number will be different, has been created. And we can exit there. And one of the items we'll be doing is looking at the status of various accounts. So we will add some transactions for MMBE. We're going to add another favorite for S_ALR_870129291, which is our line item journal. We will also add in the transaction of FBL1N, which is our vendor line items. And all of those will change after each section that we do. Now, for example, we have only created master data. So if we go into our stock overview, we'll see that there's nothing there. Zeros all down that area. If we go into the line item journal for our area, we'll see that that also has nothing. And if we go into vendor line items for our vendor and look at all the items, we also have no items. Why? Well, we haven't done any transactions in the system yet, so that should make sense to us that we don't have anything there. That concludes our master data, and you can join in to the next video for the purchase to pay process. Thank you.